after we've suffered a while, make us perfect. That no matter what I'm going through with, he's already put a limit on this thing. God says, I'm going to renew you, but you got to trust me. I said, the way you wanted to do it, I'm not going to do it that way. I got another direction I want you to take. God will never leave you nor forsake you. If God pleases, he could have sustained you. But God let things went down. If God pleases.
I know it sounds fancy what I do, but what I basically do is I like to touch people's heart. And I used to be a surgical nurse, so we did that a lot too. Literally. So that's not the good part. But I realized when I used to be a surgical nurse, this was I started it back in 1991, quite a long time ago. And I realized that people do not change because they get surgery of any kind. It might affect them a little, maybe if they are facing death in some way. But usually they don't change because they get some kind of surgery. And I'm not talking about cosmetic surgery, okay? And I got bored. Have you ever gotten bored with what you do in your life? Yes. Yes. Your career? I not only got bored, but I lost my commitment, not to healing, but to the surgery, which is a lot different. So I started checking what would I like to do for a change, and I crossed my way into a leadership program that I took, and then I got to meet what coaching was about. And I'm talking about 1998. Okay, the only coaches we heard there were, how do you call this? Basketball coaches, right? So it was another type of coaching. And I got involved, and I started learning about leadership, and I started learning about what's important. And I crossed my ways with a North American. He used to be my teacher. Now he's like 85 years old. And one thing that I got from him is how here in North America, which is not the same in the rest of the world, by the way, not even in England, you talk about commitment. I could agree on some terms. I could agree with what we are supposed to do as a community. I could agree, I could be in agreement to what we are supposed to do. But that doesn't mean that I am committed to it. That's a huge difference. Right? And whenever I coach, I don't care if it's in a company, if it's life coaching or whatever we do, I always ask, what is really important to you? Because that's where your commitment is going to be. So you read in that little card, aligning our body, our soul, and what was the other one? And our mind. Okay, sometimes our mind is telling us not to do something, and we know we should do it, right? Like, how many of you eat healthy? Me, myself, like, oh, you do? Oh, good for you. How many of you eat spicy things? None, right? I cannot eat them, but good for you that your stomach can handle it. Right. How many of you know that you should exercise? How many of you actually do it? Good for you guys. How many of you do it consciously? Okay, here we go. Okay, so when I talk about alignment, I always say, where's your commitment? And I mean by that, and this is something that it's straight from the US, it's not in Argentina. In Argentina, we use commitment in a different way, which is not a positive one. Sometimes we say, no, I won't do that because that gets me, it would be translated as really involved. Can you see my hands? Like, no, because that gets me involved. So, what am I saying? I don't want to be part of it. Okay, and commitment has to do with being part of it. To put your body, your mind, your soul, your feelings, they are part of your body, but they act like if they weren't, right? They have their own mind and their own way around. Because if I don't feel well, I don't do it. So my commitment goes to the drain. Is that right, the way I say it? Does it make sense? Goes down the drain. Thank you. Sorry, my English sometimes doesn't get that good. Other things that I learned through the commitment, when I decided to do the career change, I had to be clear with myself if, was it that I'd lost my commitment? Because why was it that was not important anymore for me to be a surgical nurse? What was it that got me so bored? I'm going to tell you why. I used to love emergency rooms. You know, a patient gets all broken, poor thing, and we get to patch it up and fix it, right? Literally. So I like that stress. I like getting involved in stressful situations and making it through to the other side. You all had some of those in your life, right? Stressful situations that you had to go all the way to the other side. Right? But when I ended up in this nice team that we were working, and all the surgery we were doing it was through the TV, and the doctor was putting things in with little sticks. And he was the only one playing with the body, with the person. Sleeping person, by the way. So I got really bored. In an emergency, your hands get in the body, you help separate. I remember once I was separating a splint, and on the other hand, I was separating something else, and the doctor asked me for something, and I prayed, please make a hand grow out of my stomach. So I looked at him and I go, I can't. And when he saw where my hands were, he said, don't you dare move. He went, grabbed the stuff, and did what he had to do. So that was a team. That's another thing we will talk some other time, because this is what we talked, that this is the first of many other gatherings that we might have together. If you want, of course. You know, nobody's forced to be here with me today or anywhere, any other day. But what was interesting is that I wanted something else in my life. I wanted to be involved in people's life in a different way. So if I tell you my whole path, I used to be an English teacher, which is not good here, but in Argentina it's pretty good. Okay, my English is not that good. Then I became a surgical nurse. I paid my career being a teacher. After that, I graduated to be a coach, a business coach. A colleague of mine said, why don't you open your own consultancy? And I go, I don't know nothing about companies. I don't know nothing about management. No, but you know about teams. So that's how I got started in my practice. Then I became, which I still work as a coach in businesses and in communities. You know, that's another story. I do bioenergetics therapies. That has to do with treating stress in people's bodies. Stress, it could be any type of stress, from when you were a kid or from today. So we release that. And I use it to change leadership styles. How many of you believe yourselves to be a little authoritarian? You know what that means? You, your case, sir? Authority. Yeah, that you know that you're kind of a tyrant, but you didn't say that out loud. Yeah. Do you know people that way in your life? No? Okay. Usually I use bioenergetics for that person to change their style and start seeing something else in their life. So when I added, and then some of you know me as the acupuncture lady. Do anybody knows me that? Acupuncture? That's the first thing you told me. She called me first, the acupuncture lady. So I have like many things that I do. But they all have one solid ground. I'm at service. I'm at service for other people. And I believe myself to be a healer because that's what I like doing. Okay? And healing has to do maybe with acupuncture, maybe with a conversation. I don't know how many of you do you believe yourself to bring light to somebody else's life? Amen. Just let's see your hands. Who believes? Yeah, I bet everybody. I want all your hands up for that. Yeah, because it says there, what's true to you or to us? And I believe, and this is something I like to share, that is true. We bring light to other people's life in any activity that we do. Now, when our mind is playing games, telling you that you're tired, that that's too hard, that I'm not sure if I want that anymore, okay, you need to get in line and say, is this my calling or is not my calling? I switched surgery, but I still keep in healing. I keep working in healing, myself and others. What is your true calling? Do you know which one is that? Okay, you have each of you have a piece of paper there. Just write whatever comes to your mind. What's your true calling? What is, and maybe you might say, I don't know what's my true calling because I'm in between callings. I'm changing. Okay, that's a good start. What's in your mind? Or what's on your mind? It will be, tell me. Okay, that's a good start. Because now you have the opportunity to start thinking, feeling, and even meditating or praying, which is another way of praying, meditating, because you're having that conversation on what is really important to you. And there says something about the defense mechanism. We have an ability as human beings that is to always be right. That's something not good. But we are always right to wherever we are heading to. If you're saying this morning, so imagine I get up and I was sleepy and somehow I didn't put my shoes on because I was late. You know, when those days you fall asleep and I bumped my little toe on the corner of the leg of the bed, so my toe did, oh my God. So I got to the bathroom and I almost fell down because it was slippery because one of the dogs peed and I stepped on it. So now I have but a hurt toe and pee on my other leg, which is not nice early in the morning, right? So I got to the bathroom and I turned the water on and I went in quickly and I didn't wait for it to start pouring warm water. So it was freezing. Remember this morning, how cold it was? Oh, it was freezing. And so when I got out of the shower, I go, today is going to be, and excuse my French, well, no, I'm going to say the proper way. It's going to be a horrible day. Usually we use other words, right? Not nice ones. Yeah, I'm not going to swear today. I'm not going to do that today. So today is going to be a horrible day. So guess what? Yeah, I'm going to be right about it. That's our ability. We are always right regarding whatever happens in our body. So maybe she will come to me and say, why today's going to be a beautiful day. Look at the sun. Ah, nah, nah, nah. It's not. And then when he comes, why are you so grumpy? Today is the best day of your life. Nah, nah, nah. Who's going to be right, them or me? In my body. I'm the owner of whatever is going on in my body. There's no one else there. How many people lives in your body? I hope only one. Sometimes it looks like we have more voices, right? Mothers, fathers, grandparents. No, only one, you yourself. And there's no way you have a big zipper that will open up your body and you close the door behind it and you leave it there, soaking. No, there's no way. It will go with you. You have a bad day or a bad mood, your body will go with you and remind you how you feel. So take your time. Talk to people. Find out what you really like. This doesn't mean quit your job quickly and no. You have to be responsible. You probably have to pay bills, or you like eating. Do you like eating? Mm-hmm. You need money for that, right? Mm-hmm. Mainly we do. So at least you buy what you want. So, but take your time to really look what's important for you and what will it take you to get there. Okay? I'm opening my acupuncture practice here. I didn't quit coaching in order to become only an acupuncture. No, I'm all of that together. But I'm starting slowly with acupuncture. The rest is already running. I'm not dropping that just because. Take your time. If you don't know that, you're important. Is that clear? And I'm talking only to you right now. But everybody's important. But I'm talking to you. You are important.
Amen.
Can you say that out loud?
Amen. I am important.
No, I'm sorry. I'm a little deaf, so you might have to do it louder. Okay, now I want you to stand up. And I'm sorry, can I use your body a little? Then stand up.
Amen.
Can you repeat that? Again. Look at me and say it again. Again. Louder. One more time. One more time. One more time. Very good. How do you feel? Okay. I want my hug. Yes, you are. You're important. Of course you are. I'm sorry to put you in the spotlight. That's not nice. But if we cannot see it ourselves, make sure somebody else tells her that today. Everybody, before leaving, just tell her, you're important, and she has to tell it back to you. Yes, I'm important. I'm really blessed that you're here. Thank you. Feel free to ask anything, okay? I have so many things to tell you, and I did some pinpoints, but I like working with people, so I just like seeing you and see if I can add some value there.
How long have you been doing acupuncture and coaching?
Coaching, I graduated in the year 2000. So for the past 24 years, I've been coaching people or torturing them. It depends. Usually coaching is we challenge a lot of people. Yeah.
So you deal with a lot of different personalities, a lot of different
Yes.
different mindsets, a lot of different
Cultures.
ways and moves.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How did you learn how to navigate?
It's a very good question. Remember I told you at the beginning that I always ask what is important for you, because there I will find your commitment. I don't work in my commitment, and coaches has to work on people's commitment. Someone told me once, oh, I wish Hitler had had a coach. No way, I go, he would be a lot better. in what he did. That's not good, because that was his commitment. And there is where you have our values. Is what you want aligned with my values, with what I think is important, with what is true to me? So if it is, we have that job to do together. I can help you. Another thing is you need to see the other person bigger than what the person is showing at that moment to you. Because we are a lot bigger than this body, and we are a lot bigger than what we think about ourselves. You have heard that how many times? Right? Yeah. We are a lot more than the little piece of ourselves that we think we are. Usually when you were kids, you might have maybe a grandfather or a grandmother or maybe even your parents telling you how good you were. Do you remember someone that important in your life that was there supporting you or buying into your dreams? Yeah.
Well,
Sure.
well, right there, if you didn't, because you said you met people before, if you didn't have that growing up, how do you start, thinking different to get there?
Well, it's interesting also, because it has to do with my own life story. I didn't feel that anybody supported me when I was a kid, because I was a crazy one, literally. My parents used to say, my mother used to say that when I started coaching, I told you, there were only sport coaches. So what we did for her, she was, how do you call this? A cult. She thought I was part of a cult that we spoke really, really, really weird. I was talking about commitment. We didn't use that. We didn't have that relationship to what is commitment. We didn't have a relationship to be emotionally honest. So I did all these courses, and then I started, of course, when you become a coach, you have a lot of guinea pigs. And the first one is your family. So they hate you for a while. So I didn't have anybody supporting me. So where was my commitment? Remember, I always tell you, you're always right in your body. And I was stubborn as a mule. I still am that way. I'm very stubborn. I graduated. I started my career in 1998. I graduated in 2000. It was a 2-year career. And I started working. The year 2004, when you switch careers, there is a moment that you have no money, by the way, if you do it the way I did. Because it wasn't in the hours of surgery. I couldn't study other things because that hours I was supposed to be in surgery. So I had to get another side job. I became a secretary for a while until I finished my career. So for a while, I wasn't earning all what I needed. So I had to struggle, but I was committed. Back then, coaching wasn't something in Argentina at least, we couldn't go to a company and said, what do we sell coaching? We couldn't say that. So we had like 80 words to say, we are here to talk about leadership process and how people think and how they build their actions. Because if they keep building their actions the way they are, they will keep having the same results. So in order to have different results, we need to check on how they are thinking as a team. And we need to intervene there for them to see a different reality in order to become able to build different actions that will give them different results. So all that to say coaching, right? Now we can relate to that. But back then, we were the ones that we put our profession in the market. But we are like 5 siblings, my parents and my grandparents. And I had the 100% of my family against me with my career change. Why are you dropping such a good surgery career? You're earning so good. The doctors love you. I just got so bored. This is not for me anymore. I spend it like from 7 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock in the morning bouncing from one surgery room to another one because we finished a surgery here. We run to the other room. We had the surgery there where people were fixing the room again. Then we had 7 surgeries in this little time. And then I have 4 hours. Oh, that's not fun. And we used toothbrush to clean them, and with water pistols and air blowers. And it would take me like probably 5 hours to finish putting all back in order for the next morning to do it again. And I didn't have any relationship with the patients, so it's not good. But my parents used to say, but you have such a growing career. I hate it. So after I struggled, we all struggled, the whole group that we were studying together and getting into the market and having people understand what we do and trusting us. And then, well, now you know what coaching is. You have it everywhere. I mean, you have a coach for whatever you need. Okay, we are like candy. We can find them anywhere. That's not good either. And my father called me. And he said, the next time you have the 100% of your family against something you're starting, know that you're in the right path. I was like, oh my God. What do you mean? Yeah, because none of us saw it, what you were doing. And you were the only one of my daughters that bought her own car and bought her own apartment without any help. So it's interesting, but you need to find which is your support group. Maybe it's not your family because they don't see it, not because they were mean people. They didn't see it. My father told me, I didn't know what you were talking about. It didn't make any sense. He was a businessman, and I was telling him what you're doing is wrong. And he was like, he was the most authoritarian person I ever saw in a company. Not good. But that was his type of leadership back then. So I don't know if I'm answering your question. That you need to know what's true to you. And it cannot be something that will hurt somebody else. Okay? We're not that crazy. Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
What is the most rewarding part of what you do?
When I see people blossom. I have worked with so many people. So many people. And when I have them, once I had he was a manager, and they didn't give him the promotion to become a director in that company because of his temper. And he was like, I want a coach, but I want her because she worked with this other guy that had another issue. And I want feedback. Why didn't you give me that position? So finally they gave him the feedback, and we started working. We did a year work. And he was a grumpy kid. He was 35 years old, and he smoothed what was like a 78 grumpy guy. Okay, bitter person. Always angry. And that he was called like Mr. No. By the way, he was the auditor in the company. So that was his role to say no if it's not right. Right? He was the one saying, this is breaking the laws, you're not supposed to do it. That was his job. So we started working, and in his case, I worked with bioenergetics to explore. And one thing that showed me is how he related to his body. And I saw this grumpy, heavy person. So we started working and exploring his emotions. And he started having like breakthroughs in his relationship to himself. And one day he called me. He was in Colombia. He's Argentine also. and he was in Colombia he had to do an audit in one of the branches of that company. And he called me and said, he sent me a WhatsApp and said, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I just turned on the station and there was salsa playing and I am dancing by myself. I haven't danced in years and I'm so happy. So when this happens, well, in his particular case, that makes my heart glow. Okay, when I have somebody that is achieving something that they really wanted and didn't know how to, being part of that is what I like. But I had to work a lot in my ego. Because one thing, and it might probably happen, probably it happens to you too, in a different way, but some professions, you're not the one that glows, it's the other person that is glowing. So you don't, I'm not the one that glows, it's the other person that glows. Because remember I told you I work on the other person's commitment to achieve something? So you achieve it, but it was your body on the line doing whatever was needed to be done to achieve that you wanted, not me. I was your support system. I was the one that kicked your butt when it was needed, probably. Or we had those tough conversations where you rebuild yourself in a different way. But it wasn't me. It was you. Yeah.
I got two questions.
Sure.
Is sometimes the lack of commitment is because we're wrestling with ourselves and we blame other, like a lot of times, like because we've been in church so long, and there are things that we wanted God to do for us by now, and because things have not happened, that commitment is really not there, but it's really us. It's really that real wrestle. Would you say that is within us to stay committed because we're disappointed with God and with how things are really going? And number two, how do you regain what you know you should have?
What do you mean by that?
Because
elaborate a little more.
Okay, like for myself, like for so many of us, we know we are assigned to serve God.
Yes.
We know we're assigned to. Okay, we know that we're assigned to serve God.
Yes.
And because of the way the enemy fights, maybe fight us in our health, maybe fight us with our children, maybe fight our marriage, maybe just fight us mentally, because our minds sometimes drift. So our commitment now becomes not a commitment no more. Now it becomes really just a duty. How do we get people, and that's one of the reasons why I brought you, how do we get people to wake back up? Because sometimes we're sleeping, don't even know we're asleep.
Okay, how many of you have had that feeling with marriage? Yeah. Okay. You feel like it's work, marriage, a job, where the passion had somehow, and I'm not made sexually passion, I mean passion to be there. Yeah, how do we regain that? How do we awaken ourselves? There are many ways.
They don't be real and true about it because you've been together so long, you begin to take one another for granted, and you don't do what you used to do. You know, you go out the way, to just have to enjoy one another. But you stop doing that because that's not important no more. Because we got this to do and that to do and that to do, but you should never lose that passion.
So I guess what we're saying is, and just say even in our case, because we're leaders, and sometimes you get so busy taking care of everything, but you said something really important. How do I make her glow again? How do I get the passion
and get that commitment that I'm gonna make sure that she glow again, and I and in the same way with church. How do we get God's spirit
Yes.
to just
I
fall
hear
on
you.
us again because we are rekindled because we really want to make this about Him, and sometimes our commitment leaves to me because now it becomes about us.
It's okay. Several things happen there. Can happen. One is that maybe we are struggling with something that gets in the way of our faith. If we're talking about relationship with God, maybe we're struggling with something that happened with our health, something that happens with our economy, with our family. My husband cheated on me, or I cheated on him. It could be also. Maybe we're struggling with something, and we think. I'm gonna put different examples, and we will build it together. We might think that God abandoned us. How many of you have ever felt that He left the room? And probably He was still standing there, and the one that I was giving the back to Him was myself, and I didn't see that. Okay, we lose our connection to God, to Jesus, and to what is really important because we are all hectic worrying about something else, worrying on how I'm going to pay the bills. And this is not, then I shouldn't worry. Not saying, I'm saying that you spend too much worrying, and maybe you need to start putting your problem out to have help. And when can you get help? When we talk to other people. And when can we talk to other people? When we trust other people with our issues, with our problems. And I don't know if you use this phrase. We use it a lot in Argentina. But God is where its church is. Do you say that? Yes. And God is where its church is. And its church is where their people are together. And that doesn't mean that if I'm alone, God is not with me. No. You're part of that church. You're part of God. God is in you. But it's a lot different, a lot stronger if I can get together in my community and have that building strength of the community helping each other. So I'm not still answering all the question you did, okay? This is a way of we need to build it together. And sometimes, I talk to her because I could see it in her eyes. And I'm sure everybody saw that in her eyes. Okay, how many of you got close to her? I don't know how here it's in the U.S., but in Argentina, people are nosy. We get involved. Yeah, people here, you have a phrase that I love that we don't use there. You're invading my space. We love invading other people's space. Okay, that's why I got up and I hugged you. Okay, so maybe in a trustworthy environment, we can start putting that there and making those chains where we can call each other. Okay, and awaken the other person. What is going on with you? Is there anything I can do for you? Probably no, because you have to solve whatever you want to do with your life, with your calling, with your passion, with that you have inside that you still don't know what, but maybe in the future you will, probably, for sure. But she will have to solve it, but we could be there for her. Okay, we need to be for each other. That's the golden rule for our community. Yes.
But don't you think first she have to be real with herself?
Yeah, but when you're lost in your thoughts, in your mind, and your mind is not aligned with your soul, that means God is playing with our soul and talking to us, and our mind is not listening, so it doesn't work. Wow. And our body is feeling whatever it's feeling, and it's getting sick, and he doesn't want to get out of bed. And even though when I got out of bed, I kicked my foot and then I stepped on the pee and I took a cold shower. Okay, so I'm going to have a horrible day. So when all that is going on all together, probably you need somebody else's hand to pull you out of your own soup. Yeah, but you need to reach out because it doesn't matter how long my arm gets to your hole, and if you don't grab it, there's nothing I can do about it. So we need to be there to talk to that person, to be there for that person. I have my best friend that he got involved with a girl that I really don't like. I don't like her. I don't like her. Still don't like her, and I won't like her so far. Sorry, God. I don't like her. I'm sorry, but I never told him that. Why? Because I'm not willing to lose my friendship because he likes her. That's his business. It's yours. It's all yours. But I'm there for him. And I'm not there to pour dirt on her girlfriend, his girlfriend, whenever she messes it up. No, that's not my role.
That's right, because that's your friend.
The other day he called me and said that a friend of them tried to seduce her, and she got confused. Oh my God, I wanted to take off my shoe and stick it on her head. Of course, I didn't do that. And I go, and this is the third time this happened with different other guys. And I keep thinking that she is always looking for what's better than what I have. Right. That's not being committed.
Right.
Talking about commitment. So, but I think that. But the fact that I think it, the fact that I might have even proved, because I can, when you tied up little knots, and you go, you see, she did it here, she did it there. This is my opinion, it's not the truth. But we try to be right? And I could force being right onto him. No, that's not being a good friend. So when he called and told me everything, the only thing I told her, she's a therapist as well as I am. And sometimes patients, as coaches, they confuse themselves and they project on the therapist or the coach what they think they are feeling with that person. But she, as a therapist, because she was giving a therapy to this guy, has to be clear what's her game. So I didn't pour dirt on her, but I just told him what's the conversation he's supposed to be having with her. Don't buy into that confusion. She's responsible for whatever thing she's having in her head. But as a friend, as a community, my role is to be there whenever he needs me. Until I drop my commitment with him, as I did with another friend. I got so mad at her and I dropped my commitment to her because she never calls for my birthday. She never comes for my birthday. My birthdays are really important. She's always thinking on herself. And once I said, if you don't move to see me, I will move to see you. So I gave her an extra chance. She was here in Miami. And I go, okay, let's meet. And I said, Sogras Mall. We love going to Sogras Mall. And she said, oh, no, because I'm going to be at the Dolphins. I said, okay, that's too far away. And I don't have a car. I'm visiting here. So, okay, I'll get an Uber and I'll go all the way there to see you. Fine. So I fixed my whole day to spend it with her because she didn't have the time to go to where I was, and she had a car. And she go like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm meeting a friend of mine. Well, not a real friend of mine, but someone that wants to work with me because I'm a health coach. And do you mind if we meet at 8 o'clock at night at the Sogras Mall and we have dinner there? What do you think I said? No way. Oh, I'm so sorry. That time I already have a commitment. I never called her again. She called me to say why I was mad. And I said, because I'm not your priority. When you need me, you call. When you don't care about me. So why are we doing this? I'm sorry. I did.
Yeah, and
I
you
think
know,
I
you have friends where they always want you to do the reaching, but they never reach back to you. So, because I used to do that. I used to be all the time calling and checking on all of my college friends, and then I started thinking, ain't nobody calling me. So, you call me, I call you.
But but you get to a point when you say enough.
It's enough,
It's
right.
enough.
So, Pat, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So now,
Going back to the other
because
conversation.
going back to a church and going back to just real life, when you switch your commitment, and sometimes, like you said with your friend, like Pastor said about her friend.
You have to let them know that you switch your commitment.
Okay.
You have to make sure. I make sure for her to understand why I switched my commitment.
Now, but now because you are a person that is a committed person, because of your mindset, you have to have a relationship. How do you take that commitment and strengthen another relationship?
Sorry, repeat. How do I take that commitment to strengthen another relationship?
Yeah. Okay. Just say I'm not committed to you anymore, but I'm not gonna stop being who I am.
We are always committed to something,
Okay.
even though we are committed to not being committed.
What?
That's a tricky one. You can get. Do you know people that they look like I don't want to have any commitment? Yeah, you're committed to not being committed, but your heart is always somewhere. It's not that you don't have your heart. If you didn't have it, you wouldn't be breathing. But your heart is always somewhere. Somewhere. Maybe it's lost, but it's there. Okay, I'm not sure what I really want. I'm going to be honest with you. Back in 2021, I decided, very close friend of mine died the day of my birthday. And then the father of a friend of Connie died. I was there too. And I said, I always wanted to live abroad, not in my country. I wanted to have that experience. And by that time, I have just turned 50. And it was like, am I going to be waiting till I get 60? I mean, I was alone. I don't have kids, unfortunately. I had borrowed kids several, but I don't have kids of my own. I guess in my past life, I had many, many, many. That's why in this one, I don't have any of my own, probably. And I said, why not? So I sold everything, and I came to the U.S. I opened up my business here, my coaching business here, and then I went to Mexico. And I opened it there, too, and I wanted to take some courses there, and I did all the craziest courses that I wanted to do, like Mexican medicine, not the one with the mushrooms, other type of herbs and healthy stuff. And I did acupuncture, and I'm studying to be a midwife, not because I wanted to be a midwife, because I want to understand more what's going on with a person that is with child. Because I never a miscarriage one, but I had a miscarriage, not that I did it. But I didn't go through the whole process, so I wanted to know more. So that's why I did the course. But in these years, till December, I felt myself without having my, your compass, north, south, east. Mine was going, I didn't know where I was heading because my original plans was to move here, then I went to Mexico. Now what? Fortunately, God didn't give me any partner because probably he will be taking that decision. That's not good. I didn't take my decision. Otherwise, we are tagging into others' road without having ours. Have you ever lost yourself because you got into somebody else's road and you forgot about yours, and then you're out of his road and you go, where was mine? Where was I heading? So it is important to have your feet on the ground on your road, and maybe you have another road that comes along with you and you're heading to the same place. But I didn't know where I was heading to. I have a little more clear things in my mind. Right? I realize my plans are still here. That's why I'm opening the other business here too. But it will take time to do many, many things. But it took me a while to understand that my commitment with my new where wasn't there yet. That information, I didn't have it yet. So I had to learn to go a little with the flow of what I had in my hands at that moment. All the courses that I was taking. And they all were in Mexico, so I had to be there. Right? So this is something that helped me to buy patience. Where can you go buy patience? You won't find it. I usually tell my clients, go to the best candy shop that you like. And there are some candies. Usually they are exactly the one you love. Those are your patience candies. So every time you need some patience, you eat one. Yeah. Sure.
You just spoke about, oh, sorry. You just spoke about, you just said about, we're talking about the word commitment,
Yes.
and you just said something, but let me just go into what I'm thinking of, because when you're married and you're committed in this marriage as a wife, and you've been with them for years, but you're helping them to lift up their dream, but somehow in the mix of it, your dream tends to fall behind, or your dream seems to lack, because now you're helping your partner feel their dream. So in order to come back with the dream that you desire to have and that you want to have, how do you get back into that place? Or
It's a very great question. Or finish it.
forgot, because you was going into
or what? Okay.
how do you get back into that? Because
yeah, go ahead.
because you do have a dream. Well, I do have a dream, but like I was saying previously, you helping your partner to get to their dream or their desire, but your dream seems to lack because you was taught, head of the house. They're head of the house, and you want them to have all that they could have so that they can take care of the house. But we are the neck, right? I'm the neck. So I tend to put my dream to the side, put it in the closet somewhere, and hey, let me continue to pray for my husband. Let me continue to help him with his dream or his desires. How do you get back into, all right, I want to be on fire for my dream too. I don't want my dream to,
There.
just drop my dream and
Do you still have the same dream as when you got
I
married
do.
before? It's exactly the same dream,
Exactly
or
the
is
same.
it varied in a way?
it's not it's exactly the
It's
same.
exactly the same.
It's
Good,
just
that's okay.
buried right now because
Okay, it's sleeping right now.
right.
Don't bury it.
Not buried. Okay, good.
It's
Not
sleeping.
buried, but just sleeping.
Okay, when it's buried, it's dead. If it says it
Right,
won't work, if it won't work,
absolutely.
you won't have it.
Absolutely.
It's sleeping. You just have it in a pause situation. Okay,
Right.
it's interesting. I know what you mean. When once I was in Honduras, the country? Honduras. I was working there. And in my belief system, I used to think that either you were a mom or you have a career. So I did that choice. I was 37 years old. I called my mom crying and I said, Mom, I'm 37 years old and I don't have kids. And she'd answer back, but your baby's your career, your company. You decided that. So I didn't like her answer, but she was really straightforward. And that's okay. That's what you chose. Okay. And when I was in Honduras, I saw these women that they were business owners and also mothers and wives. And they go to PTA and they go to the church and they volunteer. And they had I don't know how they did it because they had the same 24 hours that I have. And they go pick up the kids at school and they go and they have lunch with them. And I go, oh my God, this is a whole lateral universe that they never told me existed, that possibility. So that was an awakening for me because I got it wrong. So here, I understand, this is just to give you an example of what happened to me. Now, let's go back here. Have you talked to your husband about it? Yeah. And is he willing to support you? Did he say how?
Well, my husband, I mean, of course he'll support me in anything that I want to do. But okay, let's take it back here. I guess I chose to lay it down because
Okay, good. Don't punish yourself. Because now that if he says yes, your knees are going to start shaking. Because I don't know what I'm going to do. Because before probably we said, oh, I'm supporting him, so my dream is there, is buried or asleep. But that is an argument that will be information to manipulate your husband. Because of him, you're not having your dream. I'm pushing it a little further. I'm not saying that's you, okay?
right.
I'm using this example because we all do this. And if he's saying that he's going to support you, and you have to reinvent yourself, you are in a big deal because that might be scary. So you need to acknowledge that I don't know what to do with that now. I have no idea. Okay, so you need to stop and start thinking on how would this dream be? Start putting some time in thinking how to bring it to life. Because you have a dream with no action and no passion is just a fantasy. So right, if it's in this dream stage, you just have to put a little action to it. And then get the right emotion to follow. Because if your mood is, oh, this is so hard. Okay, you're having an issue with, you won't get committed because your heart is not there. Now, if your heart is there, you will get passionate about it. Scared, but passionate. That's good scared. Scared, but frozen, that's not good scared. Okay? My friend today, Connie, said, we were talking, said, why are you so nervous? I'm not nervous. I am nervous, but I'm scared. Why are you scared? That's good scared. I have butterflies everywhere. Oh, but you talk to thousands of people in auditoriums, and now you get scared because this is a small community that you will be facing. And I go like, if I don't get scared, I'm going to screw it up. Excuse my language. Sorry, guys. Why? Because I'm going to take it for granted. Oh, I know how to speak. I know, let me get my tape or my CD. Well, many of you know what a tape is, right? And I just put on and I start talking. No. So it's good scared. Go slowly. Get your thinking tank together. Who are the people that will help you think? Not the people that will tell you that you're right. Not the people that are going to tell you that you're wrong. But the people that will start thinking, co-creating with you to help you, to support you. You can count on me there too. Okay? I understand. But you need to be true to yourself. Hey, he said yes. No. Do I really want it? Is my heart there? Is this what, or is it, that's why I ask you, or is it a variation of that dream? Maybe change, and you don't know that. Maybe it's bigger. Maybe it has different colors. Maybe it has a different range, or maybe it has another purpose that it's not the original. I don't know. Which is, bless you, which that's okay. Are we good?
Right. Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah. Thank you for your question.
My mind went to clicking when you mentioned about rekindling and how did you rekindle and how do we wake people up and how you have to reach outside. I really got peace. And I'm always like this. For the last 35 years, stuff don't sweat me like it used to because I used to go to a little holiness church down there. And I made up my mind. I learned from them. Praise God when you feel like it and when you don't feel like it. It was difficult to do at first. But I finally got a breakthrough where I really praise him for everything. That's why it seems simple when I jump up. But I recognize the weight of being able to walk on my own, to be able to see something every day. The sun is shining. I rarely have a bad day for the last 35 years. And I thank God I had problems. But because of the attitude of gratefulness, being thankful, Lord, thank you for the day. Thank you I'm not on drugs. You know, I ain't talking about the buying drugs. I'm talking about the drugs at the pharmacy. You know, a lot of people our age and this stuff. I'm 68. Well, I'll be 68 next month.
You don't look that.
I feel great.
You look
And I
right.
thank God for it. And we eat good, you know. But the point I'm making is when I had a made up mind that I'm going to thank God for everything. It's like I had a break. I went through another dimension where I don't sweat the small stuff. It's there, but I don't sweat it. Then as far as Ann was saying about her dream, it made me think about something else. I wanted to entertain. My daddy taught us excellence, so I wanted to do something for myself. So I read a book written by 3 Christians, but it was on clowning. So I had to learn how to juggle from a book. I had to learn specific skills. Like you said, if I just kept that in my mind and not took no actual steps, then I thought about, wow, I got to get a business license. I had to do all this legal stuff to get the structure. But if I hadn't got that, I wouldn't have been able to teach reading on Saturdays at Tamarack Community Center. So something, you got to have a concrete steps that you take. And we teach it tonight, but next week, me and the Young Gentlemen's League, we had vision books, but now we're working on what we're going to do the next 6 months. We're going to get us some books. We're going to write in there what we want to do for the next 6 months. So I reinvented myself. I was a professional clown for the last 30-something years. But I got tired of putting on a costume and a white face and right? So I wanted to entertain. So I just reinvented myself as an entertainer. That way it's more varied, it's more broad. And I was able to get $1 million worth of insurance by joining the World Clown Association for $200 and something. It benefited me because a lot of businesses, they want you to have insurance for liability. So if you really got a dream and a passion, I'm still as passionate as I was 35 years ago. It ain't died. It's getting better. Even more better now since I met her, right? Because she support me. And I support her whatever she wants. But so the 2 things I was saying is that once I made up my mind that I'm not going to be a complainer, and I learned how to be a builder. When I asked you that question about the rewards, you were talking about results. And I work at a school, never thought I would teach. I always was a certified teacher assistant for the last 30 years, but I finished and got my degree during COVID. Started in 1970 at Broward Community College and finished at Revelation Bible College. But I had concrete things I did. You have to put action to what you do. And I kept my record from 1987 up until the present. I can go all the way back to 87. I got a letter from the Boys and Girls Club. Because I said, if I don't do it, ain't nobody else going to do it. Therefore, I can look back and see the concrete steps I took to get where I'm at today. And I came into contact with this church, and I ain't looked back. It's more to the story, but I don't want to take up all the time. But I thank God that you came here. You're really opening us up. That's how I see it. You opening us up. We building together because we getting to put in. I mean, if you got a dead cell, you got to reignite it. If you got a dream, you got to make it come alive. You got to do something. And there's people in this church that can tell you how to reach that dream. Yeah, we pray to God, but God put people here for a purpose.
Do you know
We're going
that-
to take 1 or 2 more questions, then we'll let Pat go, okay?
But before, can I say something? Do you know that do you know if animals pray? Do you know if animals pray? Dogs pray? But we know that it's God's creation, right? Okay. So we are the only ones in the whole universe of animals and minerals and other stuff that have that intimate relationship where we pray. We sometimes feel so lonely inside because we are struggling with our own heart, with our own thoughts about ourselves. Those are the worst. Because we could be the most easygoing with ourselves. Oh, don't worry, don't do it today, you're too tired. Or we could be as mean as having Hitler behind ourselves, right? So we cannot trust that part of ourselves that is so mean sometimes with us. So when we get lost in that maze that we have sometimes inside, we need to come forward and ask somebody to listen to us. This is what I like of working with communities. And the other thing is the person that is listening has to forget about themselves in that specific moment. You're not the important one, it's the person that is sitting there. This is the hardest thing to do. To be of service has to do with what's going on is what's going on out there, not inside of me. It's out there. It has to do with you. It has to do with all the other bodies that are around me. And that has to do with work with our ego. Some people believe that it's evil. Some people believe that our ego is just our defense mechanism. That is trying to, when anything is scary or we might think, what would the other person think about us? Okay, those alerts that light up inside like, oh my God, what's going on? Is just trying to save us. But we built our ego when we were in high school. So that's why when we fight with another one, we fight as if we were in the playground. Do you know Mean Girls? Yeah. We have those abilities, right? I don't know Mean Boys. I'm a girl, so I can't talk about them. But guys, I don't know if you have somebody that was, in Argentina, we call it the owner of the ball, that if he get mad, he will grab the ball and leave. And you go like, oh, come on, man, we're playing. I'm leaving. Right? So those are the abilities of our ego. It plays by the rules of the playground when we were in, high school. Okay? We are not our ego. We have it. So whenever it jumps up, we have to say, okay, don't worry, I can handle this. Let me figure it out. Thank you for warning me. We need to talk to our ego because it's just a huge defense mechanism. And it's interesting because if your ego wakes up, guess who's coming to play? My ego too. Did you realize when somebody answered bad at you, you can replay as to that person as strong as that person did it to you? So those are two egos bouncing against each other. That's for another conversation that we might have together. Okay, that's a whole other issue. Okay, but I thought it was interesting to understand that get clear and give you the benefit of not of the doubt, but give you the benefit that you can do it. You can take the time to think. Don't be a serial killer with yourself. You know, we behave that way sometimes to ourselves. It doesn't make sense. Yes.
My question is back to when you were saying how, as a community,
Yes.
we have to come together, and your example was when somebody is like dealing with their self, they think God has abandoned them, but they're so caught up in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
As a church, Bishop has been teaching us about building, and like you see it behind you, kingdom builders. So we have people that will come in, or just even here in the church that are already here, and you can tell when, like you say, you looked at her, you could tell like somebody's demeanor is different. They're always happy. They're not happy. You can pick up on certain things. God gives you that ability to sense things for some. How would you say we should go about in like approaching that person? Because they may not feel like they have the trust to come and speak to someone. But for us, as we are servants of God, are to reach out and to show that love and to be that light. What would you suggest that it be a good way to kind of like approach them, to kind of let them know it's okay? Because some people, and I'm speaking about me when I say this part right here, I'm not a very open person. I can smile and joke with you, but I'm not a very, like, what's in here, you're not going to get. Okay. And I have and I'm learning. We have these walls up, but sometimes you got to break through the wall, and show some people, hey, it's okay. Because a lot of people will feel like they're new here, they don't know as many people, and whatever they're going on, they're carrying it because they just don't feel like they have anywhere to lay it. They don't feel safe.
I understand what you mean. There are lots of ways to go around it. And I appreciate your question. It's a really good question. The first thing you have to greet the person. Say hello to the person. Look at the person's eyes. Get them out of their mind by interacting. Okay? Maybe you can even shake their hand. Okay? I'm a hugger. In the U.S., it's not that good. In Argentina, I have a lot of fun. And I work with schools. I do a lot of work with schools. You're a hugger? Good for you. One thing that COVID did to many of the people is we got depressed. Why? Because we didn't have physical contact. Our moods change on physical contact. So going back is like, I would probably say make sure that the person knows that you're there for them. So the first thing you have to do is just to approach and say, hi, how are you? Or hi, good morning, and wait for the answer. If the person is not answering back, you can stay and keep quiet and stare. Uncomfortable? Yeah. Who cares? Stare. Hi, how are you? The other person is going to start feeling, okay, hi. They will have to say hi. That's breaking ice. And maybe from there you can have an opportunity to say something else. Maybe ask for something. Or are you okay? I can see something there. Are you okay? People here go like this when I say that. Not here in this room, but what do you mean? Why are you seeing me? How can you see through me? We all see through people when we are looking. When we are blind in our own conversation, to our own inner script. My ex-boyfriend in Mexico, he was falling asleep. And I go like, you're sleeping. And he was with his eyes closed and said, no, I'm looking inside. I love that expression. So we have people walking around as if they were looking into another screen and they don't see anything around. Yeah, self-absorbed. Thank you for that. So you need to break that self-absorbent thing. If people get uncomfortable, who cares? That's fun. I love getting people uncomfortable. That's my job, by the way. Right? Did I answer your question? We can elaborate a lot more, but start with that. Make sure the other person, if you need anything, I'm here for you. That's it. If you want to talk, I'm here. Do you want a coffee? Do you want to have coffee? Okay. Once I went, you're going to laugh about this. Can I have some more minutes, or we need to wrap it up? Sure? It's going to be fun. I promise. I love these shops where they sell lots of kinds of crystals. You know, the I don't know, onyx and all type of balls and sizes and whatever crystal. I love crystals. So I wanted to go into these stores. So I took a day off here and I went visiting different stores. And I got to a place and there was a lady that was sitting in a room. And I had this urge that I needed to talk to her, and I didn't know why. I said, oh my God, I'm in this place where there are lots of readers, you know, card readers, palm readers, whatever reading they want to do. And I wanted these crystals, and I don't know why I had the urge that I needed to talk to her. I had the urge, and I told you I was a little stubborn. Big stubborn, by the way. So I started walking around where she was, and she said, "You're not supposed to be here." Oh, I'm sorry. So she came out of the room, and I said, "I don't know why, but I need to talk to you." And I have no idea why. Are you a reader? Yeah, maybe she has a message for me. Who knows? No, I'm just a marketing person here. Okay, I don't know why I have the urge to talk to you. So we started talking. It was so crazy. We just started talking. And she told me that she used to be a surgical nurse. Oh, well, me too. And now that she was getting in all this spiritual calling, and we started talking and talking. We ended up deciding to go for a walk at the park, 8 o'clock in the morning, 3 days from that day. So if he was a guy and I was a girl, and I'm straight, I'm not gay. So if that was the case, it would be like a pickup line. You know what I mean? So it was so crazy. I was like, what's going on? Why am I? So we ended up walking at 8 o'clock in the morning in a park. We never saw each other before. So, well, we started talking. She was having issues, so we started working throughout. We ended up being best friends. We are very good. That happened back in 2018. We're still friends till today. She lives here in Florida. So I don't know why, but you can start any conversation anywhere. So it was funny. I had a lot of things to tell her. She didn't have that much to tell me because she was in trouble. I didn't know that. I just needed to talk to her. I didn't know why. So if you feel that way, maybe it's God working through you because that person needs something that you don't know that you have, that she doesn't know that you have, but she needs it. That's good. Okay. So we can wrap it up here.
Come on, give Pat a hand, y'all would.
She is open to talk with any of us. I want to make sure, and I know she don't have no cards here, but after service, if you want to get a number. Now, what I do when me and Pat sit down and she do the little kneeling things with me to release stress, um, I always bless her. So one day I called Alicia and her and Alicia had a conversation. Lisa blessed her because she is new in the city and have not saw the office up. She's not gonna put a fee on you. But if you do want to meet with her for, I ain't talking about just talking, but if it's gonna be real, spend some time meeting with her. I really would like for you to be a blessing, so that God could really release her into what she need to do for us. Now, me and Pat, we talk. She'll be back anytime she come to town. I think you were leaving
On Thursday afternoon.
Thursday. Anytime she come to town, she'll be back. And her thing is she came back now for us. She'll be back and she'll be visiting with us. What I want to do throughout this year, and whoever else God bring into our lives, I really want us to be really in tune. A lot of people might not say nothing at first because you really got to hear. I really was listening to my daughter Ann and to so many of us who maybe have dreams and maybe done put them on the back burner. Probably throughout this year, God will really deal with you, and you'll find a strategy, a concept, or an idea because she may be able to help Gyro 2 years from now. He may can stop doing what he's doing and be able to help her. I don't want nobody to lay their dreams down. Don't. And maybe through this process, God will show you a way. God will give you an idea. And if you really want it, ask God and just pray for your mate. And maybe your mate will see it like you see it and different things. We don't know what God gonna do in this season, so don't shut no doors unless God says shut those doors. Amen. And let's just give God another praise for this woman of God. Ariel, come and take up our offering. You and your wife together. Shannon and Ariel going to take up our offering. Let's be a blessing unto my friend on tonight. Shannon and Ariel going to come. You see, I'm not joking tonight because this is very serious, Kiki. We really want folks built. We really want to see folks get their dreams. I really want whatever God got for you all. And Pat, you did a wonderful job for us. Didn't she do a wonderful job, y'all? Amen. I'm just going to ask you to be a good blessing. I'm not going to tell you what to give, but be a good blessing. Amen. Me and Pastor got to be a good blessing. Be a good blessing.